perceive you as a person?
No. You know, it's only what you have on the inside about who you are. So my life is not dictated by outside perception. It's only dictated by the things that I choose to do.
Hollywood knows her as the bubbly, golden-haired sweetheart, an icon of joy and laughter. But behind Goldie Hawn's infectious smile, there are stories she's kept quiet for decades. Until now. Today, we're delving into the rumors about 7 actors Goldie Hawn reportedly despised working with. These are the shocking on-set conflicts, the quiet betrayals, and the open hostilities she allegedly endured. And number 4 on our list might just make you see one of Hollywood's biggest names in a completely different light. For over 5 decades, Goldie Hawn has been more than a movie star. She's been a ray of sunshine. With her signature giggle and unparalleled comedic timing, she danced her way into our hearts in the 60s and has stayed there ever since. She's an Oscar winner, a producer, and half of one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories with Kurt Russell. Her public image seems flawless, a testament to a career built on talent and grace. But the glamour of Hollywood often hides a darker reality. Behind the camera, the movie business can be a battlefield of egos and power plays. For a woman navigating this world, especially at the height of her fame, maintaining that sunny disposition wasn't just a personality trait, it was a survival tactic. For years, whispers have circulated about difficult co-stars and challenging productions Goldie has faced. She has always maintained a dignified silence, choosing to focus on the positive. Now, by piecing together insider reports and long-forgotten interviews, a story emerges that she was perhaps too gracious to tell herself, a story of colleagues who allegedly mistook her kindness for weakness and her talent as a threat. This isn't just a list of petty squabbles. It's a look at the moments that reportedly tested her resilience and the people who pushed her to her limits. From a resentful ex-husband to some of the biggest leading men in the business, we're counting down the 7 figures who are rumored to have earned a permanent spot on Goldie Hawn's blacklist. Stay tuned, because this is the side of Goldie's golden career you've never seen before. Our countdown begins not on a movie set, but at the heart of Goldie's personal life. Before Kurt Russell, there was Gus Triconis, a dancer and director. He and Goldie married in 1969, just as her career was exploding. On the surface, they were a young, attractive couple, but beneath the smiles, a classic Hollywood tale was rumored to be unfolding, the strain of unequal success. Goldie's star was rising at an incredible pace. After her breakout on Rowan and Martin's Laugh In, she won an Academy Award for her first major film, Cactus Flower. Suddenly, she was an Oscar-winning movie star. Triconis, however, was struggling to find his footing. This imbalance is said to have created a huge rift in their relationship. Goldie herself hinted at the difficulties, telling People magazine with a touch of sympathy, "I don't blame him for being unemployed. Having me for a wife, it was very hard for him to build up confidence." While Goldie was publicly diplomatic, the private story was allegedly one of growing resentment. Sources claimed Triconis became bitter, watching his wife become one of the most bankable stars in the world, while his own ambitions stalled. When they separated in 1973, the conflict reportedly spilled into public view. Triconis was said to have used California's property laws to secure a divorce settlement of $75,000, a huge sum at the time. Goldie was reportedly hurt and frustrated by this, feeling he hadn't supported her during their marriage. "He never supported me a day in his life," she allegedly told a reporter. The financial dispute was a symptom of a much deeper wound. Rumors circulated that Triconis contributed to a media narrative that painted Goldie as manipulative and wild. For Goldie, this was allegedly more than a painful divorce. It was a betrayal that played out in the tabloids. It was her first harsh lesson in how personal relationships could be weaponized. The man who was supposed to be her partner had, in her eyes, become an adversary, seemingly resentful of her success. The experience reportedly left scars, teaching her to be more guarded and to protect her independence, a principle she would carry through the rest of her career. Coming in at number 6 is a name synonymous with Hollywood charm and power, Warren Beatty. The story here isn't one of on-set screaming matches, but of a quiet professional betrayal that reportedly left Goldie feeling completely blindsided. The two came together for the 1975 satirical comedy Shampoo. The film was a smash hit, and their on-screen chemistry was obvious. A brief off-screen romance was even rumored to have blossomed. But it was what happened after their collaboration that allegedly soured Goldie on the iconic actor. Beatty was preparing for his passion project, the historical epic Reds. The film centered on the life of journalist John Reed and his relationship with writer Louise Bryant. According to reports, the role of Louise Bryant was a part Goldie deeply wanted. Sources close to the actress claim that Beatty had led her to believe the role was hers. He supposedly saw her potential beyond the bubbly comedies and knew she had the dramatic chops. Goldie, excited by the prospect, began preparing for what she saw as a pivotal step in her career. Then came the stunning reversal. Without warning, the role was given to Diane Keaton. The professional sting was bad enough, but it was the alleged justification that followed that turned disappointment into a grievance. Reports from the time suggest that to justify his decision, Beatty began privately questioning Goldie's acting abilities to others in their circle. He was said to have implied that she lacked the necessary emotional depth for the role, a cutting remark that struck at her artistic identity. For Goldie, who had just delivered an acclaimed performance in Beatty's own film, this felt like a profound betrayal. It wasn't just about losing a role. It was about being built up only to be torn down by someone she'd trusted. The subtext was clear. She was the funny girl, not a serious actress. It reinforced a stereotype she had fought against her entire career. While Beatty went on to win Oscars for Reds, Goldie was reportedly left with the quiet humiliation of being dismissed by a powerful Hollywood player. In 1992, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis came together for the dark comedy Death Becomes Her. On screen, their dynamic was one of hilarious, over-the-top conflict. But according to insider reports, some of that tension was real, specifically between Goldie Hawn and Bruce Willis. The conflict allegedly stemmed from creative differences and a clash of professional attitudes. At the time, Bruce Willis was one of the biggest action stars on the planet. Goldie, a seasoned Oscar winner, was not just an actress but also a savvy producer. One rumored point of friction was a failed TV project called Partners. Goldie's production company had reportedly developed the show, but when Willis came on board, creative clashes began. Goldie envisioned a more nuanced series, while Willis allegedly wanted to inject more of his action hero brand. The breaking point in this rumored tug-of-war supposedly came when Goldie raised concerns about script changes, only for Willis to brush her off with a condescending remark. "Trust me, honey, I know what works." For a producer and star like Goldie, being spoken to that way was unacceptable. She reportedly pulled her company from the project, which later flopped. This tension is said to have carried over to the set of Death Becomes Her. Insiders whispered that Willis's blunt alpha male energy didn't always mesh with the collaborative work required for the film's complex scenes. The most damning story, however, is of an alleged off-the-cuff remark that revealed a deeper disrespect. During an on-set discussion, Willis is said to have made a sexist comment, implying that comedy was a man's game and that women were only funny by accident. While not directed at Goldie personally, the sentiment was a slap in the face. Here, she was a woman who had built a legendary career on her comedic genius, allegedly being told by a co-star that her life's work was a fluke. The collaboration was a success on paper, but behind the scenes, it was a rumored demonstration of clashing egos. This brings us to number 4, the name we promised would shock you, Bill Murray. To the world, he is a comedic icon, the deadpan, master of irony. But the story of his alleged interactions with Goldie Hawn paints a picture of a man capable of shocking cruelty. Though they never starred in a film together, they moved in the same elite Hollywood circles. The first and perhaps most painful incident reportedly occurred at a party. Goldie had recently given birth to her son, Oliver Hudson, and was dealing with the physical and emotional aftermath of pregnancy. At this party, Bill Murray, in a moment of what he may have considered edgy humor, allegedly made a joke about her body, specifically that she still looked pregnant. The comment, delivered publicly, was reportedly not just a jab, it was a deeply personal and hurtful remark that hit at her insecurities as a new mother. While Goldie didn't cause a scene, sources close to her say the insult cut deep, and she never forgot it. For years, Goldie quietly harbored the hurt from that encounter. But the final nail in the coffin allegedly came much later. A movie project was proposed that would have paired the two comedy titans. It seemed like a match made in box office heaven. But when Murray was approached with the idea of co-starring with Goldie Hawn, his rumored response was swift, dismissive, and brutal. He reportedly refused to even consider it, delivering a two-word death sentence for the pairing. "I don't do movies with grandmothers." The alleged comment was staggering in its ageism and sexism. Goldie Hawn, an enduring Oscar-winning icon, was reduced to a single demeaning label. It wasn't just a professional rejection, it was a personal insult that dismissed her entire career, suggesting she was past her prime. For Goldie, this was reportedly the ultimate confirmation. In her experience, the quirky comedian used his wit as a weapon. The grandmother comment is said to have blacklisted him from her life forever. It's shocking to hear stories like that about a beloved public figure, isn't it? It just goes to show you never really know what happens behind closed doors in Hollywood. If you're finding these rumors as stunning as we are, hit that like button. And if you want to make sure you don't miss the rest of our countdown, especially the #1 actor who reportedly made Goldie's life a living hell, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Now, let's get back to the list. At number 3, we have an actor renowned for his serious, no-nonsense demeanor, Tommy Lee Jones. His public persona is that of a gruff intellectual who doesn't suffer fools gladly. It was this intimidating reputation that reportedly led to a power struggle with Goldie Hawn so immediate that it killed a film project before it ever got off the ground. The rumored setting for this conflict was a table read for a new political comedy. Goldie, as the producer and star, was excited about its potential. Tommy Lee Jones was being considered for the male lead. From the moment the read began, however, the atmosphere was allegedly tense. According to the story, Jones seemed to have little interest in collaboration. He reportedly interrupted Goldie repeatedly as she read her lines, cutting her off mid-sentence and questioning her character's motivations. Goldie, ever the professional, tried to steer the session back on track. The breaking point allegedly came when Goldie offered a suggestion. Drawing on her decades of comedic experience, she proposed a small change to a scene to heighten the humor. Before she could even finish her thought, Jones supposedly snapped at her. His tone was said to be dismissive, as if scolding a novice. Reports claim he said something like, "This is serious work, not laughing time," completely disregarding her status as both the film's star and a comedy legend. In that moment, Goldie reportedly made a decision. She looked at the man who had dismissed and belittled her and knew she couldn't spend months on a set with him. It wasn't about ego, it was about respect. To have her expertise so thoroughly disrespected by a potential co-star was a deal-breaker. She quietly finished the read, but afterward informed the producer she would not work with Tommy Lee Jones. The project hinged on her, so the political comedy was quietly shelved. Goldie had once again stood her ground, choosing to walk away rather than subject herself to a toxic working environment. The conflict with our number 2 actor is different. It didn't happen on a film set, and it wasn't about creative differences. This was a rumored public attack on something Goldie Hawn holds dear, her philanthropic work. The actor in question is Sean Penn, known for his intense acting and equally intense public statements. For decades, Goldie has been a passionate advocate for children's well-being. In 2003, she founded the Hawn Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to improving children's mental health through programs like Mind Up. This is not a vanity project. It's a deeply personal mission. Sean Penn, on the other hand, has cultivated an image as a serious political activist, often involving himself in global humanitarian efforts. The alleged clash occurred when Penn, in an interview or public forum, supposedly decided to take aim at what he saw as frivolous celebrity activism. According to these unconfirmed reports, Penn went on a tirade, mocking bubbly blondes who think giving money to schools makes them experts. He didn't use Goldie's name, but to many, the target was unmistakable. The bubbly blonde caricature felt like a thinly veiled swipe at her public persona. The alleged comment was a profound insult on multiple levels. It was a misogynistic jab, playing on the tired, dumb blonde stereotype. More than that, it was a cynical dismissal of a legitimate educational program. Penn's supposed words implied that her work was shallow and that her status as a comedic actress disqualified her from being taken seriously as an advocate. For Goldie, this was reportedly a deep and personal wound. Penn hadn't just attacked her. He had attacked her life's purpose outside of Hollywood. She never engaged him publicly, but privately the incident is said to have cemented Sean Penn as a person she held in the lowest regard. It was a clash of values, and Penn had allegedly shown a side of himself that Goldie found contemptible. And now we arrive at number 1. The actor who reportedly represents the pinnacle of on-set misery for Goldie Hawn. The co-star whose behavior was rumored to be a sustained campaign of psychological warfare. That actor is Chevy Chase. On paper, Goldie and Chevy should have been a dream team. They first teamed up for the 1978 hit Foul Play and reunited for 1980's Seems Like Old Times. To audiences, their chemistry was perfect. Behind the scenes, however, a very different story was rumored to be unfolding. Chevy Chase's reputation for being difficult is one of Hollywood's most open secrets, but his alleged treatment of Goldie reportedly went beyond mere difficulty. From the beginning, Chase was said to be fueled by arrogance and professional jealousy. Despite Goldie being an established, Oscar-winning star, he seemed determined to assert his dominance. The alleged tactics were cruel. During the filming of Seems Like Old Times, Chase would supposedly go off-script deliberately, not for improvisation, but to throw Goldie off her game. It was a power play designed to break her concentration. In one now infamous story, he was said to have whispered to a crew member loud enough for others to hear, "Let's see if Laughing Girl can actually act." Directed at an Academy Award-winning actress, it was a breathtakingly arrogant insult. His alleged campaign didn't stop there. He would reportedly refuse to shoot scenes as written, demanding last-minute rewrites that would give him more punchlines, often at the expense of Goldie's role. The set became a tense and miserable workplace. For Goldie, this was a profound professional injury. Here was a co-star who was actively trying to sabotage her, mocking her talent and questioning her legitimacy. The Laughing Girl comment stung because it was an attempt to reduce her to her early TV persona, ignoring the acclaimed work she had done since. True to form, Goldie never retaliated publicly. She finished both films with complete professionalism. But she quietly ensured their paths would never cross professionally again. Chevy Chase's alleged behavior wasn't just a feud. It was a rumored campaign of disrespect that reportedly places him at the very top of Goldie Hawn's list. From resentful exes to arrogant leading men, the journey through the rumors of Goldie Hawn's private Hollywood blacklist is a sobering. Look at the challenges that have existed just beneath the surface of her golden career. These 7 stories paint a picture of a woman who, despite being America's sweetheart, was often underestimated and disrespected. The stories tell of personal betrayal from her ex-husband Gus Traconis and professional heartbreak from Warren Beatty. They speak of creative clashes with Bruce Willis and shocking cruelty from an icon like Bill Murray. They allege a power struggle with Tommy Lee Jones, a public insult from Sean Penn, and finally, a sustained toxic campaign from Chevy Chase. Through all these alleged incidents, a clear pattern emerges. Goldie Hawn never stooped to their level. She never engaged in public feuds. Instead, she responded with quiet strength and steely professionalism. She finished her work, smiled for the cameras, and then simply closed the door. Her career is not just a testament to her immense talent, but also to her incredible grace and resilience. She proved, time and time again, that the greatest power in Hollywood isn't a loud voice, but the quiet resolve to know your own worth. What do you think? Which of these stories surprised you the most? Were you shocked to hear the rumors about Bill Murray? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.